Hey everyone, it's David from the Geek Garage podcast. I just wanted to take a quick second to tell you about our new partnership with Everyday Superhero Training. They are a gym in Nashville, Tennessee that you should definitely check out. The gym is ran by Julian and Lydia, who make up the Everyday Superhero Training team. And what Everyday Superhero Training is a nerd-centric, holistic, personal training and group fitness wellness program taught through the modalities of RPGs, video games, comic books, superheroes, and pop culture nerdiness. Just a few things that they have to offer is a free digital magazine that covers everything that they nerd out about, and it is delivered straight to your email inbox. They have a soon-to-be famous Mission Quest fitness RPG, Nerd Skills, which is a class that uses specific training tactics to help you improve at activities you already enjoy, superhero tinted group classes, personal training integrated into every level of membership, a supportive and positive environment that wants to hear more about your current D&D campaign or show that you're currently binging, and then how much you can bench. So please support Julian and Lydia by visiting everydaysuperherotraining.com for more info on this amazing gym. Thank you. All right, hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Geek Garage podcast. I am your host, David Dassaw. With me today are two fantastic people, both of which have never been on the show before, but have been listening sometimes, sort of, but have been longtime friends.
Yay!
Yay! So I'll introduce one. I get who. Do we want to flip a coin to see who gets introduced first? Fuck that. Amanda.
Amanda. You've known Amanda since high school. She goes first. It's fine.
Yeah, Amanda, we've known each other for like 6 billion years. It's been 84 years.
Right down to the day.
Right. Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being on.
You're welcome. I'm sorry to everybody that has to listen to my voice.
No, it's a beautiful voice. And
you're adorable,
right? And I enjoy it. At least you sound like a woman, and you're supposed to sound like a woman. I am a man and sound like a woman, and it's quite important. I mean, we have
Does
been
that still happen?
Yeah, we have been through many a drive-through because we have been on many a road trip, and you know firsthand that we'll order food and they'll be like, "Is that it, ma'am?" And I'm like, "Fucking hell, again."
So surprised when it's not a man that's getting the food.
Right, yeah, but that's not exactly what our listeners tuned in for. They tuned in for I don't know what are we talking about today?
I don't know, Miranda. What are we talking about today?
Miranda's our other guest. Hi, Miranda. She's kind of like Skyping in via it's not Skype, but it's Zencaster. And I've known Miranda for almost the same amount of time as Amanda.
Like minus 3 years.
Yeah. But yes, so Amanda, I know through my wife, Lindsay. They went to high school together, and ever since we bonded over basically the same kinds of music. And it took me forever to convince her to listen to my podcast because everything we talk about is either like not really up her alley, or she straight up told me like, I don't like podcasts. Like, even for you, I won't fucking listen. I was like, mad respect.
Yeah.
But we go to shows together, and that's kind of why she's on this episode. Miranda, well, actually, like Amanda and Miranda put together, they are like two of the biggest My Chemical Romance super fucking freaks that I have ever known. Like, I thought I was a fan. Yeah, like I thought I was a fan. No, like I am not a fan. Tell our listeners. By the way, okay, so we today we're talking about My Chemical Romance, all right, and the fact that they are back together. But both of you, tell our audience, our listeners, how many times you guys have seen the band live.
Frack, did you do your math?
I did not do my math because I'm lazy and I don't do math. So we know what yours is. So let's go with yours. And I'm like a handful behind.
All right, so hi, I'm Miranda. I live in Georgia and met Amanda through someone else that I met at a concert. And when we decided to meet up and all go to a show together, I met David because she dragged him along. And we've been friends ever since, quite literally.
I was not dragged along. I came willingly.
willingly.
I came. It was an MCR headlining show, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was the Revenge
It was
Tour.
the trifecta show.
Right. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I came willingly. I wanted to go.
That's fair. And I didn't know if she had dragged you to Alabama because nobody wants to go to Alabama most of the time.
That's true. Story.
No, nobody.
So back in the day, we went and saw a lot of shows, as many as we could get away with / afford, and some that we couldn't. But my grand total before the band quit playing together in 2012 was 49. 49 times that we've been calling hashtag forever 49 since they were broken up until recently.
Yeah, that number sounds right. I believe Amanda's number, the one that she gave me not so long ago, was around that.
Yeah,
around that.
I'm like
she had a couple of more than I did. I know that she saw them more than I did because there were a few up like she's been to Maine now, and I've never been to Maine or anything like that. But she's at least like 2 to 5 ahead of me, somewhere like that.
I thought I was like 2 to 5 behind you because you made up a lot of ground. You've done a lot of 36-hour trips to California.
Right,
I was about to because
I was about to say.
Fair.
yeah, but we're close. We're within a handful of each other. There's reasons we're broke. Still,
Whatever. YOLO, bitches. I mean, like a friend. But yeah, so we are. Let's just, I guess, dive right in. I mean, like we were kind of talking about this earlier. Like, do we need talking points, or do we just want to
how much of a steady on track do you want this to go, or do you just want us to go off the
rails?
Dude,
it just fucking goes off the rails like constantly. Like, I mean, it's a damn miracle that like people even listen to this show. Like, it is just constantly it's just constant mayhem. So
let's keep up that trend. I like that.
Right. So I guess we'll hit a few points, but we like I said, we all kind of agreed that this would either go off the rails, or we would have tangents or illegal segues, all the above. And we've come to accept it, and we are forewarning our listeners. So
it's gonna be a fun ride.
Right. Yes. Yeah, so strap in, strap on. Do all those things, light up, drink up. I don't, sorry, I'm not very funny. Miranda, do you want to hit us up with the first time you saw My Chemical Romance live?
It's kind of a crazy story how I finally got to see them live. I was in a play in our community theater in 2002. I was in Camelot. And it was cast at the end of like 2001. And then the first half of 2002 is when we were putting this play on. And I met my buddy Vince during this time. And Vince and I stayed friends for a really long time. We've lost touch at this point, but we were immediate friends, basically. And so one day when it's getting close to the play actually going live, he's like, "Oh my God, my cousin who lives in New Jersey just went and saw this band, and he sent me the demo because it's fucking incredible, and it made me think of you. You have to hear this." So he takes me up to his car because that's where we had a CD player, and he has this like shitty little burned disc of a demo CD, and he starts playing it, and he plays "Vampires Will Never Hurt You." So I immediately fall in love with this song, and that CD had "Vampires Will Never Hurt You" and "Skylines and Turnstiles." I later found out it was the Eyeball Records demo that had them and a couple of other things on it. He let me have that CD, and I played it until it didn't play anymore. But like, I heard I think headfirst for Halos. I also didn't have cable at the time, keep in mind. So I didn't see like the music videos. I didn't have MTV. The internet was not nearly what it is now. And I just played that CD until it didn't play anymore and basically forgot about it since I couldn't find the full CD or anything. Well, fast forward like not quite 2 years. It was before Revenge came out, but it was not very long before Revenge came out. I had some friends who were going to see a free show in Athens. And I don't remember exactly, but it was either My Chem and Taking Back Sunday or My Chem and Reggie in the Full Effect. And I want to say it was Reggie. And they were going because it was a friend of theirs' birthday. And then apparently all the bands were coming back to the friend's house to party afterwards because she knew somebody. And they were all going to see Reggie. And they were like, yeah, My Chemical Romance is going to be there. And I was like, oh my God. So like I got my shift covered at work. And then they called me to tell me that they weren't going because the guy who was going to drive, his car had broken down and I didn't have a car. So I couldn't like offer my car in return. So I picked up my shift at work again, only to get another phone call 20 minutes into my shift that they had found another car and they were going. So they went without me.
What a bunch of bullshit.
Yes. So again, fast forward another couple of years. I want to say it's like about a year. It was like the end of 2004. I'm at a friend's house waiting to play an Exalted tabletop game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching Fuse because, again, didn't have music video channels, so I watched it at other people's houses. And I turned it on to the middle of the Helena video. And I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful. What the fuck is this? How have I never seen this before? And my friend Indigo sitting on the couch is like, how have you never heard of this? This is like exactly up your alley. And I'm like, well, who is it? They're like, I don't remember the name of the band, but like it'll show it at the end. So yeah, I'm really shocked you don't know what this is. Well, the video ended and it said My Chemical Romance, a song I didn't recognize, an album I didn't recognize, and I basically fell off the couch and I was like, the fuck are they doing on Fuse TV? Like, they're a garage band out of New Jersey. What the hell? So
Right.
I called my friend that worked at Circuit City. She said that they had both Revenge and I Brought You My Bullets. She got them for me, brought them over after she got out of work. I paid her back. And then I basically immediately started looking for shows in the area. So I got to see the Nokia Unwired show down in Orlando, Florida, after even more drama and heartache. I bought 4 tickets and we were going to have a girls' trip with me and 3 friends that I worked with. Literally all of them backed out at like the day before. So a friend of mine who had been in Canada was driving home, drove all night, came to pick me up, picked up another friend of mine who could go last minute because I begged her mother. We drove down to Florida and saw My Chemical Romance, and then met a girl there, Natalie, who introduced me to Amanda. And that was the first time I actually got to see them, and Flyleaf opened before anybody who knew Flyleaf was. Yep, Nokia Unwired, I believe, was my first show, followed rather shortly thereafter, I think, by Warped Tour 2005.
Okay. Right on. Well, your story is a lot more elaborate, and it took a lot more twists and turns than my story. My story is basically, I think, the same as Amanda's, or almost. No, okay. So yeah, when we went to Birmingham,
I don't think so. Anyway,
yeah, when we went to Alabama, that's basically. Yep.
Well,
but you,
Amanda, didn't you go to Taste of Chaos?
Oh yes, my story. I thought your story did too. When did you first start liking My Chem, David?
Shit. Well, okay. So I wrote down. I thought about the first time I saw them, and I was like, "Fuck! I need to write this down because I know I'm gonna forget it and misspeak about the first time I saw them."
Mm-hmm.
But like, I created 2 versions of the fucking notes. Like, I created like the shared version, the one that everyone else has, yeah, and then I did another version with like my notes, and then I didn't really add much to it except this part. So the first time I saw My Chemical Romance, they opened up for Newfound Glory on their Catalyst tour. Like Callus had just been released. Amanda, you were there. This is Oh, you weren't there at that show? Okay.
Mine, I thought it was Newfound Glory the first time I saw it, but in researching, they opened for Story of the Year because it was a Nintendo Fusion Tour.
That's right. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the show. Right. This is the infamous. Yeah, this is the infamous David gets punched in the face show for acting. Well, okay, so I didn't act as much as an idiot as the guy that I threw water on. Like I took my water bottle with like the tiny bit of water that I had left and like I threw it on the dude, like kind of like the Pope or whatever, or like the priest, like christening, like the power of Christ compels you, right? And but this dude was like fucking kicking people in the ribs, like he was getting super violent. And this is totally besides the point.
We're tangenting. That's
right?
fine.
Yes, like we said, we warned you. But yeah, My Chemical Romance, they opened up for Newfound Glory on this tour, and yeah, I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to them. I just remember like a lot of people being into them, and I was like, I wasn't a snob in thinking like, well, I've never heard of them, so they can't be like really important. Like that's not what I was thinking. I just like, it was one of those weird instances where, I wasn't at this point in time, I was fresh out of high school. I hadn't been to a lot of shows, but I had been to quite a few in a short period of time. And
we were getting you there.
Yeah, and this was kind of like one of the very first shows that I've been to where like any of the opening bands were like
known.
Right, and were, people in the audience were like rocking out, and like I remember this vividly. It just kind of blew my mind. And so yeah, my first experience seeing them live was,
was my first experience seeing them live. I didn't realize that, or like that you didn't even realize that you didn't know who they were.
Yeah,
at the same time.
Yeah, it was crazy. I wish I could say that. I'm kind of glad I got to see them when they weren't as big, and they were still like opening up for bands. But I also feel like been like, hey, like my first time was actually going to see them actively. Yeah. But it's all good.
So my story, even though we were at the same show,
mm-hmm.
So me and Miranda's mutual friend Natalie, that I knew, she loved my chem, and she kept going, you need to listen to the CD. You need to listen to the CD. You need to watch these videos. You need to do this. And this was back in the day of MySpace. She's
right.
Like, click on the link and open my MySpace, and you'll hear all this awesome music. I'm like, what is this shit? What is this garbage? This is awful. Why is there fake blood on them? I don't understand what's going on. Fuck are these posters? What the fuck is going on? And getting
Amanda to do anything is like pulling teeth, because she likes to sit on her hands.
Okay. Well, now that I'm old, but back in the day I was a little bit better. But don't force anything down my throat, because I don't.
You know what? No, I'm going to argue that. You're like, oh, now that I'm a little bit older, I'm a little bit better. Bullshit. If you try to force you to do something, it's worse now than it ever was. Like, you dig your heels in and you're like, no, I'm going to hate it specifically because you're telling me I should like it.
That's a true story. Well, that's exactly what happened with my chem. I was like, no, I'm not doing the thing. And then we went, and it was Story of the Year instead of Newfound Glory. I've been telling the story wrong for a lot of years.
Whoopsie.
But yeah, whatever. It was Nintendo Fusion Tour 2004. It's old.
Yes, anyway, we are all very old. We should have prefaced this by saying we old as fuck.
You know what though? We wouldn't have these stories if we weren't old. But anyway.
Yeah.
So I went to the show because I was going to see Story of the Year, because I love Story of the Year. I was like, this is great. I didn't even realize that My Chem was opening for them.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I'm like in the crowd, and I'm like mesmerized, because they are so good live. I'm just standing in the crowd, and it's like one of those moments in a movie where you see like that one person standing in the crowd, and then everybody else around them's like moving, and they're having this moment. Yeah, that's what happened. It's just me and the stage happened.
Which was Three Cheers out by this point in time?
Yes.
I guess it was, yeah, because you said 2000.
Yeah, because it came out in 2004, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Three Cheers have been out, and then I was like, okay, I'm on board. Let's do all the things. And then from there, it's been a lot of shows that happened very quickly.
Yes,
But-
I can kind of sort of say the same. I didn't even take the time to take a tally because my numbers would just be embarrassing stacked up
Yeah.
against you and Miranda.
I don't know the actual numbers. We joke because we know that Miranda's is always hashtag forever 49. So I know what hers are. I just remember we've done a lot of important shows.
Mhm.
I got to see Taste of Chaos. They were not on opening night because they were filming their first $2 bill show. So my Kim wasn't there the first night, it was just CU. So I got to see him once on Taste of Chaos because we did 2 nights in a row. Crazy. And then we did a lot of Black Parade important shows, and
That's an understatement.
yeah,
How?
Miranda, Frick's done Miranda's done a lot.
Let's see. So we kind of all with those blurbs, we kind of covered the three firsts that I had written down. You know, the first time we heard of them, the first time we heard them, and the first time we saw them live. I mean, I think more or less the three of us got to these three. For me, all three of these happened on the same night. Like, I heard of them at the Newfound Glory show. I heard them at the Newfound Glory show, and that was the first time I saw them live, obviously. So, I mean, that kind of covers me. And then Miranda, I know you said that.
Yeah,
you
like
heard them live
2002
or
or some
heard
shit
them
like that.
on their that demo CD.
Like a beast.
Right. Wore that shit out.
Back in my day.
Right. Back in my day, we had to
Exactly.
put the music on the CD, and you had to put it in your car or put it in your Discman, and you played it and you listened to it with the headphones, and you were like, bip, bip, bip.
So funny story. A coworker of mine was given a CD for Christmas like yesterday.
Yeah.
It was early Christmas present. Her car doesn't even have a CD player anymore. It's everything Bluetooth. She's like,
no!
She's like, what do I do with this? She's like, I can't do anything. I can play it on my laptop. That's it.
Yeah.
I have nothing else played on. She's like, I'll just listen to it on Spotify.
It has begun. I heard
It's
about
crazy because I didn't even think about the fact that they're just not in cars anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miranda, did you know
100%.
that they're starting to make cars without CD players? I didn't fucking know this until like the other day. Yeah, I like don't even want to buy a fucking new car anymore. Like, I mean, I don't want to own a car that doesn't have a CD player in it.
Yeah, my husband's car doesn't have a CD player.
Lame.
Crazy.
So lame.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. What do we want to dive into next? How about our favorite live shows? Do you guys have a favorite live show?
Yes.
I'm gonna let Amanda go first on this one.
Okay.
I have a hard time deciding.
So you do?
I do.
But
I gotta narrow it down.
I mean, if you need to like have a couple
Fuse.
favorite shows.
Yeah, no, Fuse was my favorite.
Yeah.
We stood in line this was for Black Parade. We stood in line for 12 or 16 hours. And when I say stood in line, I mean we stood because it's in New York and you can't sit on the streets.
It was 13 and a half hours.
So we stood. There you go. 13 and a half hours on the streets of New York in Converse because we were young and dumb and thought that was a great idea. It's terrible.
In the rain.
Converse to like show in the rain because your feet are going to hurt and you're going to have back problems when you're older. So kids, listen up. Take it from us. Wear comfy shoes to shows. Nobody gives a fuck what you look like.
Right.
Anyway, so we were on the list. We had to be on a list to get in. So we get in finally, thankfully. And, we walk up and we're like, oh, well, we're just going to stand here because obviously,
okay,
that's a stage.
Okay, I actually literally told this story the other day.
The story, I'm terrible.
So after we actually got in, there was a catwalk, and I say a catwalk, but it was like a 2.5 by 2.5 foot box that was taped with orange tape, and this was being filmed for TV. So we automatically assume that's where the camera guy's going to stand, right? Or like sit or squat or whatever. Because this is a full on being taped for Fuse TV. And one of the guys with us, Josh, and I say, okay, we're going to go stand right up there because that way Amanda, who is super short, can see because there's going to be a camera dude kneeling in front of us. And that means that nobody else tall will be in front of us, right? So we stand there and it comes like to about 3.5, 4 inches beneath our knees. It's digging into the shins, especially as people start to push in. The lights go down. The band comes on stage. Bob takes a seat behind the drums, and the lead singer, Gerard Way, walks up directly to where his belt buckle is eye level with me, and the show begins. There was no cameraman. That's not where the cameraman was at all. There was no cameraman who came the entire time. Instead, we all needed adults, and it was different adults than the one that was standing in front of us. My cauliflowered ear still hurts. I had a new piercing, and I was talking to this chick about it in line, and because we were directly up front, and anytime he leaned into the crowd, he was leaning on top of us, which of course, being theater kids, we were like, well, help keep him on the stage or somebody's going to get hurt. Apparently, this girl wanted to be in my place, and so she consistently, for the better part of like 5 songs, was punching me in the ear. And I got a staph infection that cauliflowered my ear, and I can never have a piercing there again.
Wow.
My knee still hurt.
Permanently scarred.
The story. My
Yeah.
chin still hurt.
Yeah,
physically hurt listening to this.
How are you getting punched in the ear? Was it just like because of madness in the crowd?
No, she was purposefully doing it to try and get in front of me.
Well,
And
what a mean person.
yep,
That person
yep,
was.
she certainly was. And unfortunately for her, she did not know that I, like Amanda, am also terribly stubborn. And
Oh yeah?
yeah, I don't know if you knew this, David.
I know it never crossed my mind.
But yeah, so one of those things where it's like, oh, okay, so you people are trying to pull somebody off the stage and want to get in front of me? No. Now I'm going to stay here. This is where I live now. I live here forever.
Well, that's something else. I mean, I guess my favorite show is did you go, Miranda? What?
No,
Okay.
you can go ahead. I'm still trying to decide.
So I'm also kind of undecided. But it's between 2. So the first is Tampa. It was the outdoor show.
Next big thing.
Yeah, yes, that's it. To give you a
Frack.
frame of reference, Default was still a band. This was also the first time I think most of us finally got to see Stained, and like they were like one of the last bands to play, and we literally just stood there for a second, and we're like, cool, now we can say that we saw Stained. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And but yeah, they I think that was kind of like a one-day Warped Tour, or maybe like a weekend Warped Tour, where all bands like they got, I think it was more than a half hour, it was maybe like 45 minutes they got
a festival,
right, but it was like an all-day festival. And I can't remember if it was like a weekend or just
it was a weekend.
one day. Okay, cool. So it's either that show or and I'm hoping I'm not like misremembering the amphitheater show where it was the where Linkin Park headlined.
Oh, Project Revolution.
Yeah,
that was Project Revolution.
Yeah, didn't they play that show?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I mean,
That was a good show.
there was just too many mud rats involved with that show for me to be like, I don't know if they play. I was like, I'm pretty sure they played, because there was a lot of us there. Like, I think that was the show that where most of us were gathered, as far as I can remember, like with me involved. No, I'm not saying like I'm the most important person, because obviously that's untrue. But
But you
yeah.
are very important.
I mean, I'm like one of two men, and then out of those two men,
We need all the men we can get.
I'm like the straight man. So and like I use that like very fluidly. So yeah, it's between those two. It's pretty rough or tough to pick, but yeah. Miranda, have you decided yet?
Well, no, not really.
Give us your top picks.
I would say, all right, so definitely in the top would be the last show on the Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge tour when they toured with Alkaline Trio and Reggie and the Full Effect. The last show of that tour was in Baltimore, Maryland. And Amanda and I actually made it to that one after some bad decisions and long adventures.
We make a lot of those.
It was an adventure, we'll say that. But because it was the last show on the tour, like Skiba came out and sang with them, and James came out and sang with them, and it was just a really, 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 really good show. In addition to being like the thing that solidified me and Amanda's friendship forever and ever and ever, amen.
Right.
Another top one would probably be the MySpace secret show in Los Angeles, California.
I love how like MySpace has been like has come up more in this episode than it has in really like any other episode that I've done, and I know I have like younger listeners subscribed to the podcast, and I'm hesitant to like bring up MySpace.
Google's not going to know what to do when all of a sudden MySpace
Google
is like research. They're going to be like, what?
Right.
Justin
Google
Timberlake owns this.
Right.
No,
Google just shuts down when you type in MySpace. It's like, I don't know.
Facebook just pops up and takes over. It's like an episode of South Park.
To be fair,
Facebook just
MySpace has probably been mentioned on this podcast more than it's actually been mentioned in the last 10 years.
Well, that is the damn truth. But yeah, go ahead, Miranda. I'm sorry I hijacked your.
No, you're fine. There was a secret show in Los Angeles where if you showed up and they sent out like 100 invites to people in the area, so there was only going to be like 100 people at the show. And a friend of mine and I just decided we were going to drive from Georgia to Los Angeles because it was Friday night and we didn't have to be at work until Monday evening. So that seemed like a good idea at the time.
I mean, I would have done the same thing.
Right. So we literally drove overnight nonstop to Los Angeles, got there in time for the show. The FMR out there got a call from the FMR of the East Coast, who we knew at the time. And he didn't do anything for us until some of the girls in line like shoved us to the head of the line and said they should get in if anybody does. They came from Georgia. And so everybody in line got in because not all 100 people showed up. And there were 3 of us who were rocking out because everybody else had their phones out. And it was actually an amazing show. It was the first time they ever played Famous Last Words live. They had just finished filming the video for it a couple of months before. But like at one point, Gerard gave me and my friends a look like, I don't know what to do. All of these people are filming on their phones. And so we rocked out harder than I have ever rocked out before in my life. And there was all of this open space. We were like swing dancing and like shoving into people to try and start moshing. And it was a lot of fun. Even if it was like a weird experience, it was a lot of fun and it was a really good show.
That's awesome.
But there's so many that are such good memories. It's not always necessarily the concert, but like who I'm with, what happens after the show. That's what I always think of.
Right.
Probably the best show I've ever seen was a couple of the ones on the Black Parade tour, just because they had a really good production value and that was a really good album. And they had it nailed by that point. And when they were still living for it before the Black Parade sort of like before the second leg of the tour when it got like, okay, we've been doing this for a year now kind of thing. Probably one of those shows is probably the best I've ever seen. But I don't know. There's so many that I just think of fondly because of things that happen around it. So I can't really narrow it down. Those would be the first two that came to my mind. So I guess they would be, at the top.
Right. Yeah, that that makes sense. I think Amanda and I would echo your sentiment on it's not so much or it's not at least just the show. It's about the people you're surrounded with, and that's precisely why I picked those two shows as my favorites. And to show that I'm being fair, I was surrounded by a lot of people at the Black Parade Ohio show, and fuck that show in particular.
Yeah, seriously.
So if you want to talk about being overruled by like 24 women who were totally fine risking pneumonia for standing in line, like when it's pitch black in the morning, like 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning to like 6:30 in the evening when the doors finally open, risking it all for in the middle of like a damn blizzard, and like all we had like for heat
was your non-existent body heat.
Right, yeah, exactly. And like I didn't even have my dad bod yet, so I didn't even have my own fat to comfort me. And we took turns like going and like having lunch at the KFC like 3 blocks away because that was the only source of heat that we could find other than, just the piles of blankets that we all stashed away and we, grabbed out of the car. And, like I literally took a nap on the sidewalk, like a homeless person.
I've slept on many sidewalks.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know.
Under my jacket, no less.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. I think I had to borrow, I think it was Josh's trip jacket.
Probably.
Yeah. And I was like, this is a nice jacket. Like it wasn't warm, but it was
nice.
But it was another layer. And like, I mean, like it was like a scene jacket. I was like, fuck yeah. Like I never owned anything that was like tapered like that or like, I don't know. Like I just felt like a badass, and like the buttons were like little skulls. I was like, fuck yeah. Like I'm like a goddamn rock star in this jacket. But yeah, I like I said, it's a goddamn miracle I didn't get pneumonia. So
do you remember what came out of that trip though?
Diarrhea.
Nope.
Fuck yeah. What your bear? What do you call your bear?
Always reshare Master Bear because he was named. Remember, we called Matt Skiba the Master, and so I named the bear Skiba, and then Megs renamed him Master Bear.
Right. Okay. So tell the fine people listening at home about this bear. I mean, it's it's just a teddy bear, but it's not just a teddy bear.
But it's not just a teddy bear. So there's this joke. I was in a band at the time, and my guitarist, who was fucking phenomenal, and I love that dude, and I miss him. He made the joke that me and my 2 best friends, Amanda and the monkey, were the Sanderson sisters. So this came about when they came to pick me up from recording one night, and we were headed off to a concert. So of course, this was like the last thing said. And so we talked about it like the entire drive. And we determined that because he was a member of the Church of Satan, that meant that Matt Skiba of Alkaline Trio was obviously the master because, Winifred, Sarah, and just lost her name. Mary, thank you. Were their master was Satan, etc. It was funny. So on that trip, I, in a claw machine, got a little bear in a fuzzy devil suit. And so because he was in a fuzzy devil suit, and that kind of honestly looked like Gary Newman from Hocus Pocus, we named him Skiba. So I took this bear with me and used it like a travel pillow, like around my neck, because it was just a cheap little bear that if it got torn up, I didn't particularly care, or so I thought when I first got it. That bear became iconic. That bear went on every trip. That bear took pictures around the country. And on that trip back from Ohio, the Black Eyed Peas was playing. And so, being raised on Jim Henson, my favorite thing in the world was to sort of puppeteer the Schema Bear
Right.
to dance. Little did I know at the time that it was going to be filmed. And now, every year when it pops up on Facebook, the people that were in that car, somebody shares it. And it's now become the never not reshare Master Bear.
Right. Right. And that was actually filmed on a point and shoot digital camera, right?
Yeah, I think that was Meggs's.
Yeah, it was a point and shoot digital camera that also did video, which was groundbreaking for the time. Was not shot on a phone, on a smartphones weren't a thing yet.
Nope. Flip phones, baby.
You're right. Yeah,
Sidekicks.
Sidekicks and like burner phones,
Razor.
as they're known now. That was basically your bread and butter. So yeah, this video is iconic. This bear is iconic.
Meggs put it on YouTube and then had to like re-download it from YouTube to save it, and somehow it eventually made it to Facebook. Like, it's kind of a miracle that video is still around at all.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, internet. And now you have pictures of your baby with that bear. I mean, she's not a baby anymore, but you know,
she was when the picture was taken.
Yeah,
Sure.
The Schema Bear has been passed on to the toddler. And one day I'll take it back.
Right.
This is not a toy that is going to be given away when, you know, all the baby things are gotten rid of. No, Schema Bear will go up on a shelf where he can lovingly watch over us all until it is time for him to dance once more to the Black Eyed Peas.
What Black Eyed Peas song was that? That was back when they like just became kind of like mainstream, right?
I want to say they had just added Fergie, and like I could hear part of it in my head, but the only reason I know it is that video.
What man, I'm having a hard time.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up and find it.
I just remember like me as far as like iconic road trip songs go, like I would mouth sing the guitar solos to songs, and one was like the solo to The Middle by Jimmy Eat World, and then the that really popular Avenged Sevenfold song that was on the radio at the time. I think it was the "God here in a fiery place."
Don't forget your Scott Weiland impression.
Right. It's been a while since I've done it, so I can't remember exactly how it goes. I did this. What was it? Scott Weiland, Reggie, and then Quagmire from Family Guy, all rolled into one like 4-second little weird schizophrenic psychotic seizure movement, where it was like me playing piano or a synth and like swinging a microphone and like doing like the giggity and yeah, like I don't know.
Why is that not on video?
I don't.
We didn't have video camera. We're old and poor.
Help me, I'm poor. Yeah. Okay, Miranda, thank you for sharing that. You're the only one that could tell that story.
You're welcome.
And tell it to the best of anyone's ability. Let's see. Fuck. We're very professional here.
I feel so bad when you have to edit this because there's no.
I'm not gonna edit any of this. No, I'll have to edit a little bit, but as far as like trimming the fat, like I don't give a fuck. I mean, like some people's podcasts, like they will, like when they have guests on, like the host will literally go to the bathroom and be like, "Hey." They'll have their guests talk to like the control person that's like doing the audio. I'm like, all right, well, that's one way to do it.
Not here, folks.
Right, but
quality. quality.
So, Miranda, you pointed this out, and this is something that we can touch on, or we don't have to, but I thought it was pretty interesting. You kind of pointed out that, like, for the most part, all their albums are like concept albums, I guess, or quote unquote concept albums, like summer concept, and it seems like one or two or more of
Okay.
like rock operas, like the Black Parade, maybe. But yeah, I'll kind of let you take the lead on this one if you'd like, because since you're the one who kind of came up with this idea, and I mean I have some notes, but
That's fair. Well, I know that there has been claims that the I Brought You My Bullets was also a concept album, but I'm not 100% clear on the story, and it's been years since I've heard that, and I don't remember where I heard that. So I've
sure
got
we can
very little for that,
we
to be perfectly honest. But supposedly, I Brought You My Bullets, You Gave Me Your Love, the first album, was also a concept album.
Okay. Yeah, so we can stick to Three Cheers, Black Parade, and Danger Days.
Right,
I mean, those are probably the albums that most people are familiar with.
right. So, Three
So
Cheers for Sweet Revenge was their second album that came out in 2004. And it was about, oh god, what did he call those characters? It's the two characters that are on the actual front of the album.
right.
But it's the lovers, and she dies. She's killed, and the whole album is basically about how he makes a deal where he's supposed to bring the souls of 1,000 evil men, and whatever
Mhm.
he made a deal with is supposed to bring her back, and then it goes badly. It's basically like some sort of gothic romance Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing.
Sure.
Um, and that's where, like, it's not a fashion statement, it's a fucking death wish came from, and I never told you what I do for a living, and things like that. Like, titles like that were from this world of, like, kind of blood stained, I'm gonna kill all these people to get back the one that I love, and oh shit, this goes badly kind of thing. Um, Obviously, the Black Parade, most people are familiar with,
Mhm.
follows the patient. And the beginning of the album is the end of his life, and then it follows through his life. Like, he relives parts of his life. He meets other characters along the way. It's where you have mother war and fear and regret, and he has to face his past, and he sees the histories of other people through, like, Disenchanted and things like that, until finally he accepts it and moves on with the Black Parade. And then Danger Days is set in a post-apocalyptic world, very culmination of 1984, Blade Runner. You know, the government and the major corporations have taken over and are running our lives and trying to control our minds and things like that. There's a brightly colored rebellion. Um, it's actually probably the most intricate world that was created with one of their albums. And I think from, like, I see in your notes it says it spawned the comic book series. I think it was actually the plan all along to have a comic book series alongside it.
That sounds right. I mean I most of these notes, like, I didn't really have the time to go past
Right.
Wikipedia. So granted, we have to take my notes with a grain of salt because they were transcribed from Wikipedia, and fuck knows where those notes were transcribed from. But they sounded relatively accurate to what you and Amanda have told me prior, in the past, in regards to these albums being either concept or rock opera. So I mean that definitely sounds along the lines
And
of
those are
what.
super short overviews, as it were. But
Sure.
if you didn't know, now you
Yeah.
do. Da-da-da-da.
Right. No. I mean, to me, like, so I look at the all the albums as like my children. Like, I literally cannot pick a
Right.
favorite.
Same.
Uh, like, I mean, like, I can pick my favorite son because I have one, and a favorite daughter because I have one daughter. But I mean, like, the albums, they're all like, I mean, there's some similarities between like Three Cheers and Bullets, I think, and Bullets and Black Parade, maybe. But for the most part, like, they kind of all stand on their own. Like they all sound like My Chemical Romance,
They're all
but
different.
they all right, they're all different, and that's what I fucking love about this band, and what I love about these albums is that like they were able to stick so closely to their sound and not like change the core of who they are, but still be able to venture out into new territory, do new things, and do it successfully to where it sounds good. But like I don't know, the intricacies of Black Parade, like it's darkly beautiful or beautifully dark. I don't know which one
I
is
think they
more
both fit.
fitting, but yeah, like just the culmination of the idea of someone being greeted by death, basically, as in the form of a parade, essentially at the beginning of the album, and it kind of like the album flows really well like a
Yeah.
rock opera or concept album. And to read about how they their sound, like overall, like just as a band in general, but this album specifically was largely influenced by bands like Pink Floyd, Queen, the Beatles, David Bowie, other like big
Yes.
classic and glam rock bands. Like it all suddenly clicked today while I was reading over it and listening to the Black Parade. I was like, fuck, like it opens up like a whole new meaning for the album and a whole other level of appreciation. Not like I didn't to begin with, because I did. Like, I mean, this was my favorite album for the longest time. And now, I'm stuck in limbo where I don't have a fucking favorite. But yeah, that's sorry, that's just me rambling about my affinity for
I love it. Well,
complicated
you
rock
mentioned
music.
Queen and David Bowie. Those are basically, I tell people that Queen is my favorite band, followed very, 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 very shortly by My Chemical
Mhm.
Romance. And I realized actually in prepping for this podcast episode, because you and I were talking about it, I realized that that's actually what
Uh,
draws me to a particular type of music, that all of my like top 3 favorite bands that I list off the top of my head, and I don't include David Bowie because he was an artist, he wasn't a band, um, is world building.
mhm.
And my top 3 favorite bands are Queen, My Chemical Romance, and Coheed and Cambria, all who do concept albums and world building and rock operas and things like that. And my favorite individual artist is David Bowie. And my favorite 2 albums from David Bowie are the Labyrinth soundtrack and Ziggy Stardust. So I like things that tell a story. I like things that build a world. That is how you will be in my top 5 favorite bands, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That perfectly. Yeah. That makes perfect sense. Amanda. It feels like forever since you've spoken. Tell me your favorites.
My favorite album is definitely.
Sorry, I
Uh,
just like shoved the
you're
microphone in
fine.
your face.
It's all right. That means that the introvert needs to get closer to the microphone.
Yeah, that's all right.
My favorite is definitely Danger Days,
Yeah.
and I love all of them. But I feel like, okay, so Black Parade is amazing. I think I've listened to Black Parade like twice in the last 10 years.
Why? Because we
I
saw
mean,
it like 30 something times live, back like
Exactly.
beginning to end.
Exactly. From, beginning to end, and it's
like it takes an emotional toll.
and it does.
Like
and
it,
then over and over.
right.
I'm not complaining. I'm very fortunate and very happy that
Right.
I
But
got to see him live. But
yeah, like you guys, from the way you made it sound, like talking about the amount of times you went to go see them live, it seems like
90% of it was Black Parade.
Yeah,
And
so,
it was 90% Black Parade, like the Black Parade tour. Like
right.
I have one T-shirt where I'm like, I didn't go to 3 of these, which is why that's the only reason I have like a My Chem tour shirt, because I'm missing 3 of them. That's it.
So
but it was like Danger Days was like a breath of fresh air.
Right.
It was colorful and happy, and
Right.
you weren't like in this depressive state anymore, and it was
Sure.
changed, and it kind of related to the band changed, but we were growing up and changing at the same time, and like important life events happened at the
Oh,
same
Amanda,
time.
you're giving me goosebumps.
I know. But it was so different, and I got to, paint Nintendo guns, like light ray guns, and it was amazing and fun. And you got your creative, which let me preface this by saying I am not creative or talented. However, I am definitely full of Pinterest fails, and it's amazing. It's terrible, terrible, and terrible. But you got to have fun with it, and you got to dress up for the shows, and you were encouraged to not just. I love black, and I will always love black. And they've apparently even made a darker color than black, and I still love black, and it's fine. I'm gonna wear black to the day I die. But wearing neon colors and looking like Blade Runner is really fun and amazing.
Right.
And I had so much fun, and I regret that I didn't do more of those shows because they were so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I got old, and I decided that I can't stand in line for 17 hours anymore.
Yeah.
And so we sat in seats and in the back of the crowd a lot, but we still had great adventures like on that tour because we decided, oh, hey, we're in a new state, in a new city. We're going to go see things in the city and then go to a show. Not, oh, hey, I'm in a new state. I saw a concert venue.
And a sidewalk.
Right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw the sidewalk.
That sounds like a much more like grown up plan.
Yeah.
Like getting old, like an old fuck plan.
And then they go and break up on you or go on hiatus, whatever. They broke up on us. They broke my heart. It's fine. I'm not bitter. I'm still not bitter.
I'm a little jazzy about it still. It's fine.
It's okay. Oh, I'm still mad. But, and then you regret not standing in line and being on the barricade, but you're like, but you had all these other experiences. I was like, yeah.
Okay, well, if you need a frame of reference, at least you two got to go see this band on the Danger Days tour.
That's true.
I did not because
they didn't come here. Or
I think
close.
that might have been one of the reasons why. I feel like if they came here, I would have made it because
we would have drug you.
Yeah. That is accurate. Right. I'm pretty
they didn't
sure.
Come here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure anytime they came here,
yeah,
I went.
Yeah.
So we, I just thought about this. We need to talk, however brief, about Halloween, like 10 years ago at Rocket Town. It was
what
like,
band were we saying?
It was the best karaoke band of all time.
That would be 30 Seconds to Mars.
That would be. Thank you, Miranda. So yeah. If also just side note, if you enjoy doing karaoke live, go see 30 Seconds to Mars. I don't know if they've changed. Maybe they have changed. I don't know. But we went to this show and we saw them, but it was more of an excuse for the three of us to get together and hang out.
Yeah.
And go see live music and dress up because one, it was Halloween, and two, like I said, it was the three of us together. And Miranda, who did you go as?
So David, Frack calls me and tells me, Frack is Amanda, by the way, calls me and was like, so David had this idea, and she tells me that he is planning on going to the 30 Seconds to Mars show dressed as, and I quote, the Black Parade. And I was like, how the fuck is he going to dress up as the whole of the Black Parade?
Girl, let me show you.
And so I get sent like this text saying, gonna black the eyes out, gonna pale the face, gonna wear all black, and I'm just gonna be the Black Parade. I was like, okay, challenge accepted, motherfucker. So I talked to Frack and I'm like, listen, if we put X's over your eyes, get you a bandana, I have a hat that you can wear. Do you still have this old jacket? And we put hers together. And then we were literally, it was 2009, like Danger Days was actively touring and happening at the time. So I had all of my Killjoy stuff. So I dressed up as Danger Days, the True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys.
Yep.
Frack dressed up as Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge. And my buddy Brian came with us, and David dressed up as the Black Parade.
Yep. I did.
It was excellent too. It was fantastic.
The fact that this all kind of like fell together within the span of like an afternoon, basically, is kind of a mind fuck and a miracle.
And hilarious.
But it also kind of makes sense. I mean, like, we were all still young, so like we, for the most part, we didn't have families or really anything going on. So, it was relatively simple. But I don't know, just the fact that we were able to pull this all together, and then like I look at the photos and I'm like, that was a thing that happened.
They get shared every Halloween.
Yes.
Because it was amazing.
Right. Yeah. I look at me and I'm like, I did that to my and like people recognized me. Like I ran into a buddy that I knew from work at the time, and he was like, "Hey, how's it going?" I was like, "How the fuck did like?" I mean, like my face is white and my eyes are black, or vice versa. I can't remember. But yeah, somehow I was still recognizable. Maybe it was I think the dad bod was starting to kick in. I wasn't a dad yet, but the
bod came first.
Right. The gut, I guess. It was, the spare tire who just bleh, that's the sound it made.
The literal sound.
Right.
Oh, by the way,
yes.
To answer an earlier question, the song that the Master Bear dances to is "Turn It Up" by the Black Eyed Peas.
I don't even know that song.
Oh no, you would if you heard it.
Oh, I know I have, but like saying the song title does nothing for me.
No, exactly. Like that's the thing, is if you heard it, you would go, "Oh, that's the Skiba Bear song."
Right.
Yeah. God. Also, Miranda, I feel bad. It feels like you came up with like a lot of good talking points, and I came up with jack shit. The other day, when we were still formulating notes, you texted me and you were like, "I added some PSAs to your Google Doc," and I was like, "Okay." And I looked and I was like, "This is like half the fucking page." Like I came up with nothing. And,
hey, I added nothing to it, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's all good. So I figured, let's see. So I think mostly what we have on deck left for the episode is this, and then basically talking about the band getting back together. So where do you think this falls into? Do you think we should talk about that first, or PSAs first?
I think we should leave the PSAs for last, because that will come after. Basically, it'll be applicable now that the band is back together.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, okay. Cool.
Additionally, something we haven't mentioned is their 5th album, Conventional Weapons.
Okay. I guess
I know most people don't talk about it.
Okay. I guess I didn't know that this was a thing.
Yeah, well, most people. So it was. I don't think it was ever actually given like a full, like CD release. They only released it as an A side, B side. There were what, 5 vinyls, Amanda?
Yeah, there's like 5.
And it was technically an album, but it was like
album.
It was the discarded album between Black Parade and Danger Days.
Okay. This is starting to ring a bell now.
So here's the thing: is like, I want to ask you guys what your favorite song is, because mine are fairly controversial. And I promise it's related. So before we get back to the return, David, what is your favorite My Chemical Romance song? Top 3 if you can't decide.
Okay, yeah, it's gonna have to be top 3. And let's see. Okay, I'm gonna pull up Spotify real quick so I can name.
We both just grabbed our phones
because
I don't ever know the names of songs. I'm like, oh, it's track 8.
That's me. Like I know the track numbers.
It's 8 and 10. I don't know.
So I guess in the spirit of doing a top 3, I'll do one from my top 3 favorite albums. Like I enjoy Bullets, but definitely not as much as Three Cheers, Black Parade, and Danger Days. So I'd say that coming in at number 3 would be probably be "Thank You for the Venom" from Three Cheers. For a couple reasons. One, it was a badass song for them to
Amen.
play live and come out to for like the longest time. I mean, basically, from the first time I saw them up until they were the Black Parade, I think this was their first song that they would come out to, or well, of course, interlude, and then it would leave into "Thank You for the Venom." And then coming in at number 2, I would have to say "Famous Last Words." I cannot not cry anytime I hear
fair.
this song. I can't sing it and not just like get either misty-eyed or really emotional, because it just crescendos in the most fucking epic way possible. Like I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like I'm preaching in the choir when I talk about, how this song hits, like, melodically and emotionally. So I feel like you two and our listeners that, love this music probably can relate on some level.
You literally took my 2 songs
Fuck.
for the exact same reasons. I have more. It's fine.
Okay,
But literally, you took the
cool.
words out of my mouth.
So, and then number 1, let's see. I'd probably go with "Bulletproof Heart"
That's
from
a really good song.
Danger Days. I mean, like, she's got a bulletproof heart. Yeah. Like, it just yeah, I don't know. Like it's so hard to pick like a song from Danger Days, because the whole album, like, I mean, like Frack was saying,
It's so fucking good.
This album, right? Like, it rocks so fucking hard. It's I don't know. It's so hard to put it, because they they incorporated a few new sounds into this album that weren't present either for a while or at all. It was very like heavy on the synth. Didn't James from Reggie get featured on this album a lot?
Oh yeah, he did all the piano and all the
I know
synth and everything.
Yeah, I know he would typically like do like in live shows he would do a lot of piano, and then like I believe in the Black Parade, the piano in "Welcome to the Black Parade," I believe that's him. Maybe
I don't know which came first.
Okay,
whether he recorded it on the album first and then toured, or if he just toured with it and it was already done.
Miranda,
chicken or the egg, I don't know.
Right? Do you know?
Not
Miranda?
off the top of my head. I would have to look it up.
Okay, it's not important, but I mean, just what I was trying to get at is like, it's.
But I know he did it for Danger Days.
Yeah. All the like the really the songs like "Bulletproof Heart," they kind of hit like one every 2 or 3 tracks on this album. Like "The Only Hope for Me Is You," like that one, and then "The Kids from Yesterday," like those kinds of tracks. They have the same feeling of. I love how they fit into the theme of the album, and the theme is post-apocalyptic, and your mind should automatically go to like hopelessness, but the songs are like so full of hope, and it's just like it makes me like very emotional. I mean, on a different level than like the Black Parade does, but it's just fuck, like you just can't beat this album, any of the albums. But all right, I've talked enough. Who wants to go next?
All right, what about you, Amanda?
So David literally took the words out of my mouth.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I have more.
Good.
Venom. Good. Venom was always my favorite, probably up until Danger Days came out. So Venom and Famous Last Words are just amazing songs, and they hold that emotional. And I think that's the thing, like David was talking about, like there's emotional like connections to the songs and it makes you feel something.
Yeah.
And I think that's why these are my favorites. So it's Venom and Famous Last Words. Disenchanted was my favorite, but more disenchanted on the tour than what happened on Black Parade, but I'll take it, so it's fine.
Yeah, you like Shut Up and Play.
Yeah, I like Shut Up and Play. Thank you. I couldn't think of it, but yeah, it's what turned into Disenchanted. Yeah, Shut Up and Play is really good. It's
oh yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah. You can still find really poor quality.
Right, yeah.
Recordings of that on YouTube every once in a
God,
while.
I totally forgot about that.
Shut Up and Play is amazing.
Yeah.
That turned into Disenchanted, which I liked as well. And then my newest favorite is Kids from Yesterday.
Yeah.
Because they all make me feel something. Like Famous Last Words, I get like so much like bitter and like I'm gonna make it through, and it's got so many like emotions tied to it. And then Kids is just like, I try not to cry every time I listen to it. I'm like, oh, the memories, and I'm old, and oh my God. But it's like, you're going to persevere and make it through, and it's fine. So,
yeah.
That's my favorites. I got to, which I'm assuming we're going to with Miranda's favorite songs.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick a B-side, it's Kill All Your Friends.
I was going to say, don't forget to mention Kill All Your Friends, because I always think of you.
Yeah.
All right, Miranda,
so
let us have it.
I agree with you, David, that I can't pick a favorite album, but if I had a gun held to my head and I had to pick, I would probably say that my favorite album was Revenge. Keeping in mind that this is not to say that I think it is their best album. I think their best album is probably The Black Parade, followed very closely by Danger Days, as far as like production quality, songwriting. Like they clearly had gotten into the swing of being a band and all of that. But my favorite, if I had to pick one, is probably Revenge, just for my feels on it. That being said, none of my favorite songs came from any of my favorite albums. My favorite song of all time is the B-side from The Black Parade, which is Heaven Help Us. And it is because the first time I ever heard it, the line and the punchline to the joke is asking someone save us, just fucking blew my mind and hit me where I lived, because that's what I was very much feeling at that time.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to help you. You have to save yourself, basically. And it just lined up perfectly with where I was in life at that point, and it has been my favorite song for years and years and years. Honorable Mention is a song that never got recorded. I think it would have been one of my favorites if it ever had gotten like a studio recording. But there's a song that you might or might not anymore be able to find called Stay.
Oh, Stay was so good.
Yeah, that's technically probably one of my favorites, but the one decent recording that there was out of it, you couldn't hear like a third of it. So I'm pretty sure that would be one of mine, but I don't know.
Okay.
However, the two that came in later is the reason that I mentioned Conventional Weapons, because I didn't particularly care for that album. I felt like they never really intended to release it, and it was just sort of as the band was winding down, there might have been a contractual obligation or something. But number 5 on Conventional Weapons, the A-side and B-side, is Surrender the Night and Burn Bright, and those are probably two of my favorite My Chemical Romance songs of all time.
So it seems like a lot of your favorites are like hidden tracks, unreleased B-sides, etc., etc.
Right, and it's not me trying to be like a hipster weirdo, like, oh, look at all this stuff that I know that you've probably never heard of. No, it's just something about those different songs. When I heard them, it's for the same reasons that you guys love Venom and Famous Last Words and Kids from Yesterday. Those songs found me at a time in my life where they managed to perfectly vocalize, either in lyrics or just like music itself, how I felt. And I identified with a part of it that I was like, yep, this is now a favorite song forever. Okay, cool. Moving on.
Girl, preach.
The Black Parade B-sides, though, My Way Home is Through You, Kill All Your Friends, and Heaven Help Us. They're just so good.
Why the fuck were they on the album?
I don't know.
Like, they were so good.
They were like, I feel like they should have been on there versus some of the other. I think those songs feel almost like the bridge between Revenge and Black Parade. Like it's kind of in the middle of the two as far as like sound goes. They're not quite as dark as Black Parade songs, but they're not as, oh my god, I'm gonna kill you. Well, I don't know, kill all your friends is a little murderous, but it's fine. That's why I like it so much.
Right. I mean, just, don't like stab me in the neck with a knife.
Yeah, pretty much.
Preferably. At least, not right now.
Yeah, it's fine. Not tonight anyway.
I'm safely in Georgia.
Away from the stabbing.
Yeah.
So what does that bring us to now? Do we want to talk about the band getting back together?
Yeah, I think that brings us to the return.
Guess what, guys? The band got back together.
I still don't believe it until I actually see it happen. Until I'm there,
right?
It didn't happen.
So I
didn't get tickets, so it still ain't happening.
This episode, the idea of this episode was kind of spawned shortly after the band got back together. It was maybe within a week of it happening, and I think we were all still in shock. We were kind of waiting for like, just kidding, fuck you. But
they've done that to us so many times.
Well, not the band.
Yeah.
The band didn't do that. The record label boned us a couple of times.
Yes. Yeah,
yes.
but anytime I see an announcement on like My Kim's Facebook and it's like, oh, new stuff from My Kim, I'm like, fuck you. Not this again.
That's to be clear.
Don't crush my soul.
To be clear, that's the record label, not the band, which is why I've always said after that like 10-year scare with the anniversary thing that they did, that's why I was like, I'm not going to believe anything until I see it on the actual members of the band's social media, which is why this time when it happened, I saw it on Gerard's first, and then Frank posted literally the same thing, and I was like, wait, I think it's happening.
Right.
You could hear my bank account sigh.
Right.
There's already nothing in here. Oh.
Yeah, I think this picture was on social media a couple days ago. And as of recording, this is, what is it, Tuesday the 26th. It was like the four of them like sitting on the floor. It looked like
a rehearsal studio.
Yeah, rehearsal studio. I got a little emotional. I don't know how you guys felt, you ladies, but I felt a little tingling in my pants. And I was kind of happy. Okay, kinda is I was very happy. I mean, a little sad that Bob was not in attendance, but yeah. I mean, like just like you two, I'll believe it when I see it, but still, like,
we're starting to see it.
I mean,
it's starting to.
They had a show where tickets went on sale for like 3 minutes, and then they all sold out.
Yeah, we were all going to be flying to LA,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're just not going to talk about that.
No.
So right, we don't
fuck that tipping website.
Right, and so we don't end up like punching the computer.
Yeah, we don't want to break the nice, expensive equipment.
Right, out of rage. So we'll focus on the positive, like the fact that they are back together, and we'll hopefully make new music. I mean, like I'm hopeful that will happen. It seems like that's a thing. Like, I mean, according to Joe Jonas, they were in the studio.
Cannot believe. Fucking right. Like I'm so glad and happy that they're back and together, and it's amazing, and it's amazing. Why the fuck did the Jonas Brothers have to be right? What the fuck? Why do they know things?
Amanda,
yeah,
I'm gonna take a picture, and I'm gonna send you something right now while we're live on the air, just so you know. I found something the other day. Yeah, so please continue, but I just want you to check your phone in a minute.
It's probably a penis.
It's so much worse.
Oh, okay. Worse than vagina? A penis? Well, I mean, like it's solicited. It would be a solicited dick pic.
Exactly. I'm always down for that.
So I mean, yeah, like there
That's
really
fine.
is nowhere to go but down. Anyways, so Miranda, let's kind of start with you. What are you hoping to get out of, or for to materialize out of them getting back together? Are you kind of looking forward more to like live shows, more new music, something else, a little bit of everything?
Definitely live shows, because literally the next show that I see will be 50 for me. I would like to not be Forever 49 anymore.
That makes sense.
So I would like them to tour.
That makes sense.
I would like them to do multiple cities close to me so that I can see a bunch of shows. But I would not say no to new music as well. Like, if they want to get together and feel creative and build another world for me to enjoy while listening to music, then I would love that. But I think the thing that I would like most would be live shows, because I have the music. I love the music. I will always have the music. I have been missing live shows for the last 7 years. So
yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I might lean a little bit more heavily on the new music side, for a few reasons. Mostly, like, I mean, I can't make it out to live shows as much. Granted, let me preface this by saying, like, if they come to Nashville and like surrounding areas, I'm like you, like, I'm gonna take some time off and like go with you guys to these shows. Like, I'll fucking be there. But like, I'm at the point in my life now where like music listening has evolved to this point where I never truly imagined it would be, where like when I listen to music and I just experience it on this transcendental level, to sound like a fucking pretentious asshole. But like, it just, I don't know, like it just, I feel it like so much more. So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to the possibility of them making new music, but like you said, being able to see them live, like, killing it, and being able to watch it with friends again is just there'd be nothing like it. So, Amanda,
Shows.
like there was any like I needed to ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I need more shows. There's
Don't wear Converse.
Something, yeah. Don't wear Converse, kids. Wear insoles that are supportive, and
Yes.
you can
Wear the boring like New Balance
Nobody
dad
gives a
shoes.
shit what shoes you're wearing.
Right.
Nobody gives a shit, and if they do, then fuck them. Who cares?
Yes.
Be comfortable.
Truly,
Be comfortable.
fuck them.
Like, fuck them. But yeah, no shows. There's been this lack for the last 7 years of shows in my life. And by that, I mean, I've gone to a shit ton of shows, but there's not that, it sounds stupid, but it's not that magic that my Kim has, because there's something about this band. And I think that's why we've seen hashtag Forever 49, and we've seen this many shows, and we've done the things, and we followed the bands, because I've liked a lot of bands. I've seen a lot of bands in concert. A lot. Like, my ears hate me. I've seen so many in concert. It's not the same. So I need to be able to I need more shows to fill the space and void in my life that I've had for the last 7 years. Because there's nothing like being on the barricade and having this like 2-hour moment that, I mean, obviously you've heard the stories that like live for forever in your brain. And it's just this magic, like, it's just this feeling of, it's amazing when they're on stage. I haven't had that in 7 years. So I need somehow to be able to get to California and get a ticket to this damn show so I can have this again. Not that I'm bitter, but I need more shows in my life.
All right, guys, you heard it. Members of the band, Amanda has a hole that needs to be filled. And I may or may not mean this in some sort of pseudo-sexual way. She has a hole, and the only prescription is more.
More my Kim.
I think Miranda's just dead. We're not getting anything from her.
I'm fucking done with you guys.
She's just like,
I didn't say it.
She's over
This
it.
time.
She's over in Georgia, just crossing her arms over her
She's
chest, like fuck these guys. Like
I thought I was gonna get out of this shit.
goddamn
I
nonsense.
thought we were gonna get out of this alive.
You know, okay, so this is the Geek Garage podcast. Presumably everybody who listens is nerdy for something or another. But
Truly.
But you know the look that Crowley gets on his face in Supernatural when one of the stupid demons starts talking in hell? Like the slight eye
exactly what happened
twitch.
in my head, by the way.
Like the jaw sets to the side and like there's a slight eye twitch.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as you have that in your head, we can carry on.
But yeah, I need more shows. I need a lot more shows. Okay, thanks.
Well, I mean,
I'm looking forward to new music.
Yeah, for sure.
I want the shows.
Agreed.
And on the note a note of new music, that probably lends us a decent segue to some of Miranda's PSAs, because a lot of them are tailored around going to see live music. At least a few. But yeah, Miranda, Frack, since you came up with these, I will let you take the lead and power through these like a boss.
You know, honestly, a lot of this is not stuff that is going to be new to anybody, really, because I've noticed a positive movement in a lot of fandoms. Everything from, Star Trek and Star Wars all the way to and through Doctor Who, Supernatural, everything. So I've seen it started to sort of being applied in the music world too. But I felt that it's kind of just, it bears mentioning because we saw a lot of, we're all friends because of this band, right? Like, and we've been friends for over a decade at this point, almost closer to 20 years at this point. But we also met a lot of shitty people. Like, I have a cauliflowered ear. I'm just saying. And there were more that were just bullies in a crowd. Like you said, there was that guy who was punching and kicking. There were a lot of people like that. And it wasn't just to try and dance. It was to try and be like bullies and assholes in a crowd. So PSA number 1 is being an old fan does not make you better than anyone else. Be kind, be helpful, share your love, not your judgy superiority. Also, being a new fan does not make you better than anybody else. It also doesn't automatically make you a victim of the older fans. Like, be responsible, be kind. Like, everybody just be nice. We're all here because we love something. Share your love of that thing, not like some sort of weird status game.
Right.
So, PSA number 2.
Amanda, did you have something?
Oh, yeah, feel free to add on to any of this.
Well, I was just gonna say that, like, since the band has dispersed momentarily for 7 years, this new movement of like Bob Ross and like Mr. Rogers being like icon, like our childhood icons have come about, and just like be a nice person, like just be fucking nice. Listen to Mr. Rogers, just be a helpful neighbor. Like, stop being dicks.
Right.
All right. Okay, thanks.
No, I mean, I do feel like what Miranda said bears echoing, that we have kind of with our generation, just I feel like it's naturally a little bit kinder than the previous, and that's not necessarily a knock. That's just stating an observation. And then the generation coming up, but I guess after millennials, they are increasingly nicer, and they're nicer despite living in a time when they didn't know a life without internet. So they didn't have to, like, we didn't have to really deal with the things that they deal with. And I know we're kind of getting off topic, but like, yeah, I do feel like we're kind of ushering in a new era of acceptance overall, but it does still bear repeating that, yeah, don't be a dick.
Agreed. PSA number 2, be polite to the band. They owe you nothing. They are human beings just like we are. Be polite to fans old and new. Everybody changes. Literally no one, is the person that they were 7 to 10 years ago. You don't know their story. I don't care how much you read on the boards or on Facebook or anything like that. Until you sat down and gotten to know somebody, don't just assume that they were saying that to be a jerk. There was a lot of drama back in the day, and I don't want to see any of that going forward. And I will be watching for it, and I will be diffusing it, because when you are in something that you are there because you love it and they are there because they love it, there's no reason that we can't be friends.
Right on.
And finally, be polite to security, to venue staff. Just be polite, don't be a dick, and don't be a bully. If you want to be on the barricade, get there early. If we are at a show together and I see you using physical force or bodily harm to get in front of somebody because you want to be closer to the front, I swear by my pretty floral bonnet, I will end you. And by that I mean I will have you thrown out of and banned from the venue, because I've done it before and I'll do it again. I do not live to tolerate bullies. And this is not just for My Chemical Romance. This is for literally any concert. Ever.
She's not joking, by the way. Like, we both seen her do it. Like, it's a thing. And also it's not just for My Chemical Romance. Like, everyone's there to have a good time, and if you're there to be a dick, or you end up being a dick,
Correct.
You don't deserve to be there. I mean, like, people pay a lot of money to come to these shows. Like, people skip paying bills and credit cards, and they don't go out to eat or like do little things that they have money stashed away for, so they can go to these shows, and they don't go so they can roll the dice, be like, maybe I'll have a good time this time, or maybe I'll get punched in the face.
I didn't sit in line on the pavement for
so
13 and a half hours risking pneumonia in fucking Ohio so that you could punch me in the face to try and get on the barricade because you got here 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I always felt that there was like an unspoken, unwritten rule with, yeah, you get there really early, you get to be near the barricade. And like, I was always so pissed about the people like that would try and navigate their way from the back all the way to the barricade. And I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? Who?
What golden eggs did you shit out this morning that makes you think that you're important, sir?
Right, like I went all like Caterpillar from fucking Alice in Wonderland, like, who are you?
You. And that's the thing, is I was, okay, hashtag adult life here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was asked what experience I had in management recently. And I said, or like, was I comfortable in a managerial role? Because I'm helping coordinate a convention, a gaming convention.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'll tell you right now, I am the manager / boss who is totally on board with whatever you need. I'm happy to help. I am an ear to listen. I am going to be, we are going to be workplace professional buddies, and we're going to have a great time, provided you do what you are supposed to do, and that you are polite and do not cross any inappropriate lines. And I realized in having this conversation, that's my approach to life.
Mm-hmm.
I am typically very genial and very open, and I genuinely care about the story that you're going to tell me. And I can become invested in somebody if they take the time to sit down and have a conversation. Bad days aside, because we all have them, I'm generally a pretty approachable, outgoing, friendly individual. The minute I see you do something inappropriate, which most examples in my lifetime at this point have been at concerts, you are cut off. I will do anything in my power to stop you from continuing that behavior, up to and through handling you myself, or handing you over to like venue staff or the fucking police, because I've done that too.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you get it, girl.
Like, just don't be a dick. Don't be a dick at all. That is what I have learned from my time in being a fan of My Chemical Romance and all the crazy travels and concerts. And it's not just condensed to this band. It is a life fucking lesson. Don't be a dick, and you will find some of the best friends you will ever make in your entire life, a love of music, and we'll get along great.
Yeah. I mean, that's just good life advice in general. Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Like, be the person that, like, Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross, and your dog think you
Yeah.
are.
Exact.
Like, it's not complicated. Just
It's not fucking hard.
think of those three people. We can't forget LeVar Burton.
And LeVar Burton.
Yes. I feel like there's one other. There's like
a
a
lot. Betty White. Like,
right.
Don't piss her off. Don't make her mad.
Right. Betty White won't take none of your shit.
That's right.
That's like one of the OG memes.
Yeah.
Like Betty White with like a handgun. And it's like Betty White doesn't put up with your shit. And I was like, fuck yeah, Betty White. You shoot up them hoes. I don't know.
Don't disappoint Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, ladies, gentlemen, which is me, and then any other dudes that are listening, I guess. I don't know who I'm addressing. This has been fucking fantastic, talking about My Chemical Romance. I mean, it's a band that helped bring the three of us together. I mean, like we said, Amanda and I, we were already friends, but like it just solidified this friendship and helped us make so many other friends in the process. I wanted to have like the whole Mudrat crew on here, but because like I think the internet would just shut down from everyone having to like Skype in.
Break the internet.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. So shout out to all the Mudrats right now. You know who you are. You guys would probably do a better job at listing them all if you want to take on that challenge real quick.
Nope, that would take too long.
Yeah. There's a lot of them.
They know who they are.
Yeah, you know who you are. And plus, you know, we don't have their permission to call them out on the internet. Yeah. So we
right.
Also, we didn't explain who the Mudrats are. So if you don't know, if you're questioning who they are, you're not one of them. So there you go.
Right.
We just called everybody out.
It was a whole thing. Technically, like, I mean, if you want to get super technical, like, I'm not even a Mudrat because I wasn't.
You're honorary.
Yeah, I'm an honorary Mudrat, I guess. I wasn't at the show in, it was Jersey that I was at?
Allentown.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, apparently it was, you know, raining and muddy, right?
Yeah.
And the band.
There was a hurricane.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's a whole long story. We can either save that for another time or I'll put it in the show notes on the website. I'll have y'all type it up in the official report. But Miranda, sorry,
I would say we could cover everybody and we could shout out to the Mudrats because that was the Black Parade, and then the Neon Garbage Angels, which was Danger Days era, which added a few people too.
Okay, right on. Dope. Well, Miranda, thank you so much for Skyping in or Zencastoring in. I don't know what remoting in. I guess that's the generic term. I'm doing great.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes. Hopefully I'll be able to see your face to face sometime soon in the near future.
Hopefully not while I'm sick as a dog like I am right now.
Right. Maybe at a convention sometime soon. I'd like to hear more about the one that you were talking about earlier, because I'm trying to get out to more conventions. You know, we went to GalaxyCon in Louisville this past weekend, and it was.
I saw that. Congratulations on your snazzy booth, sir.
Thank you. It was overall just a fucking fantastic experience. Ted and I, my co-host, were planning on recording a episode here in the next couple of days, just kind of like unpacking everything that happened during the convention and all the things that we learned, because it was just a fucking fantastic experience and just so completely humbled by everything, like the artists that we were surrounded by, just all the talent that was there and all the people that came up to us in our booth. Like I said, you know, we'll get into more of that, but hopefully you and I and Amanda can, you know, go to a con sometime soon, and or a live show of some sorts, maybe, possibly, hopefully.
I have a live show idea in mind. It just has to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'd love to hear about that.
I think you need to listen to this podcast then, David.
Oh, okay. Well,
See
I
what
mean,
it-
I'll,
see
There's
I'll
an
have,
episode of this podcast called The Geek Garage that'll be coming out soon that I think you should listen to.
yeah. I mean, I'll need to go back and listen to this anyways during the editing process.
I'm
But
so sorry.
yeah, no, hey,
We went everywhere.
no, this is my labor of love, and I do it through thick and thin. Amanda, Frack, thank you so much for coming on. I know this is your first time, and you are a tad bit of an introvert. You've come out of your shell a lot since we first met,
Yeah.
but I know that you are still kind of at your core an introvert. So like doing this may not have been like the easiest thing, but I
may have tried to get out of it a couple of times today. It's all right. I'm glad I came. This was fun.
Yeah, I knew that when you came and we got Miranda involved, that it was going to be a blast. So thank you so much for coming on, Miranda. Thank you once again.
Well, thank you for having me, David. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so that will do it for this episode 39. Welcome to the Black Friday parade. I think that's what we're gonna call it, because I believe we're planning on, if I can get it edited in time, it will be epic to drop on Black Friday. So you can fucking listen to this instead of like going shopping for some shitty ass TCL TV for like $100 off or something. I don't know.
We're much cooler than
Right.
getting, trampled to death shopping on Black Friday.
Right.
Nah.
Yeah. But ladies, thank you once again so much. And listeners, remember, be kind, stay geeky, and eat lots of cheesecake. Bye.